tunnels with unusual designs and surprising purposes can be found all over the globe. From bizarre tunnel structures to one-of-a-kind passageways, today's video is all about the most peculiar tunnels. Join me as I count down 15 of the strangest tunnels in the world. Let's dive in. Number 15, the Wisteria Tunnel. If you're planning a trip to Japan, I highly recommend visiting the Kawachi Fuji Gardens. It's home to a breathtaking Wisteria Tunnel, created from 150 blooming wisteria plants across about 20 different species. Walking through this vibrant flower tunnel will make you feel like you've stepped into a fairy tale. For the most stunning views, I suggest going between late April and early May, when the tunnel is at its peak bloom. Number 14, Rogfast. In recent years, Norway's efforts have been made to simplify travel across the country's stunning fjords, one of which involves the construction of undersea tunnels. Rogfast is a notable example currently being built. Once completed, it will be the world's longest and deepest undersea tunnel, stretching 27 kilometers and reaching a depth of 390 m. The tunnel will consist of a concrete tube anchored to the seafloor by clasps and supported at the surface by pontoons, allowing it to remain suspended underwater. Number 13, the Glowworm Tunnel. In the 1880s, a railway tunnel was constructed in southeast Australia. However, it soon became too hazardous for trains to use, leading to its closure in 1915 on one side to create a reservoir. Although the water was eventually pumped out in 1995, the tunnel wasn't entirely abandoned. Instead, a colony of glowworms took residence, turning the tunnel into a glowing spectacle, resembling a constellation of turquoise stars. While the tunnel is walkable when dry, it often floods, prompting some to navigate it by canoe. Number 12, the Lal Tunnel. Completed in 1995, Norway's Lal Tunnel was designed to reduce travel time between Oslo and Bergen. Stretching 242 kilometers, it can feel monotonous, essentially offering 20 minutes of empty space. However, the government took this into account during its construction by involving a team of psychologists. These experts adjusted the lighting, added more gradual curves, and incorporated short straight sections to make the drive more engaging. Additionally, the tunnel is equipped with a consistent viewing distance of 1,000 meters, emergency phones every 250 meters, and fire extinguishers every 125 meters, ensuring a safe and comfortable journey. Number 11, the Bund Sightseeing Tunnel. If you're looking for one of the strangest tourist attractions, the Bund Sightseeing Tunnel is a must-see. Situated beneath Shanghai's iconic Oriental Pearl Tower, the experience begins with visitors stepping into a small, futuristic rail car. They're then transported through a tunnel, bathed in pulsating, strobe-like lights that create the illusion of flying through a psychedelic version of space. The overwhelming display of flashing lights and vibrant colors is paired with a haunting soundtrack, occasionally interrupted by eerie English phrases like shining star and hell. This 5-minute ride truly stands out as one of the most bizarre experiences around. Number 10, Portland-Shanghai Tunnels. Portland's Shanghai tunnels are among the darkest tunnels in history. From the mid-1800s to the early 1900s, the city was one of the most dangerous port cities in the world, teeming with illegal activity, much of it underground. While some tunnels stored shipping supplies, others were used for Shanghaiing, where men were kidnapped, drugged, or knocked unconscious and sold to ship captains in need of crew. These victims were dragged into tunnels through trapdoors in bars and locked in cells until shipped off to sea. Women were also reportedly targeted, sold into brothels worldwide. While the true extent of Shanghaiing is debated, modern scholars believe it was less common than folklore suggests. The tunnels likely served as housing for immigrants, opium smoking spots, and drinking venues during Prohibition. Many tunnels were filled in, but some remain and are open to the public, including the popular Shanghai Tunnels Tour, which delves into Portland's dark history and ghost stories. Number 9, Guang Tunnel Across. Guang Tunnel is one of the world's scariest mountain passes. Its story began in 1972 when Guang Village, isolated in a valley, was only accessible by a steep, narrow path known as the Sky Ladder. This treacherous climb was difficult even for the most skilled villagers. In 1972, 13 villagers, led by their chief, decided to connect their village to the outside world. They sold livestock to fund the project, but with only hand tools like hammers and chisels, progress was slow, just 1 meter every 3 days. After 5 years, they completed the tunnel, which opened on May 1, 1977. At 1.2 kilometers long, 5 meters high, and 4 meters wide, Guang Tunnel is narrow, with sharp twists and dips, making it a nightmare to drive. The road is unforgiving, leaving no room for mistakes, though passengers can appreciate the views. Today, the area draws international attention and modest tourism, and the tunnel has even been used for movie shoots, making it both famous and frightening. Number 8. The Paris Catacombs. The Paris Catacombs, a tunnel that will make you contemplate mortality, date back to the late 1700s when Paris's cemeteries overflowed, creating a health crisis. To solve this, officials repurposed an ancient network of stone quarries, extending over 300 kilometers, into an underground ossuary. Over a 2-year period, 6 million skeletons were moved here, using nightly processions with covered wagons collecting remains from various cemeteries. Initially, bodies were stacked haphazardly, but later reforms led by Louis-Étienne Hervé organized the bones in stacked formations, labeled by parish and burial date. The catacombs opened to the public in 1809, closed in 1833 due to church opposition, but eventually reopened due to demand, and are still accessible today, if you're brave enough to visit. Number 7. Subtropolis. Subtropolis, the world's largest underground business complex, spans 55 million square feet in Kansas City, Missouri. Originally a limestone mine, it was transformed in 1964 by Lamar Hunt. Located 46 meters underground, it features 5-meter-high, 15-meter-wide tunnels with 16.9 kilometers of roads and tracks. Businesses flock here for affordable rent of $2.25 per square foot and a stable temperature of 18 to 21 degrees Celsius, eliminating climate control costs. It's ideal for storing sensitive materials, such as historic films and government records, with entities like the National Archives and the EPA based here. Employing 1,600 people, Subtropolis is vital to both local and national interests. Smaller underground facilities exist, like in Butler, Pennsylvania, for secure storage. Subtropolis is open to the public weekdays, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and also offers paintball at Jur in one of its caves. Number 6. The Beijing Underground City. During the Cold War, nuclear bunkers were common, but Beijing's underground city took it to the next level. Built during the 1969 Sino-Soviet tensions, it was designed as a massive shelter to protect Beijing's 6 million residents from nuclear, biochemical, and conventional attacks. The complex featured tunnels connecting important city sites, along with facilities like restaurants, schools, clinics, theaters, factories, and even a mushroom farm. It had 2,300 ventilation shafts and 70 potential water well sites. Over 300,000 volunteers, including students, helped build it, even demolishing ancient city walls for materials. The city briefly opened to tourists, showcasing a silk factory and wartime slogans, but was closed for renovations in 2008 and has remained off-limits since. Number 5. The Large Hadron Collider. The Large Hadron Collider, LHC, located on the border of Switzerland and France near Geneva, is a major scientific research tool. Built over 10 years with the help of 10,000 scientists, it's the largest particle collider in the world. The LHC accelerates subatomic particles to near light speed and collides them for scientific study. Its 27 kilometers tunnel, buried 175 meters underground, uses powerful magnets cooled to -271.3 degrees Celsius to accelerate the particles. Since 2008, the LHC has made groundbreaking discoveries, including creating microscopic black holes and detecting the Higgs boson. In 2024, it's working to prove the existence of magnetic monopoles. Public tours and exhibitions are available, though access to the tunnel is limited. Number 4. The Valletta Tunnels, Malta. The Valletta Tunnels have a long history of helping Malta withstand adversity. In 1530, Holy Roman Emperor Charles I leased Malta to the Knights of St. John, now known as the Knights of Malta, for a single falcon each year, with the responsibility of defending it, particularly from Ottoman invasions. During the Great Siege of Malta in 1565, the Knights dug tunnels beneath Valletta to store food, water, and transport troops. Later, the tunnels were repurposed as a sewer system. The tunnels gained prominence again during World War II when Malta, a British colony, faced brutal bombing by the Axis. Over 2 years, more than 3,000 raids dropped 177,000 bombs on the island. Valletta's tunnels were used for shelter, with residents even digging private passages for safety. Military operations also took place in the Lascaris war rooms, which coordinated Malta's defense. After the war, the tunnels fell into disuse, except for the Lascaris war rooms, which remained a military base until 1977. In 2009, forgotten tunnels were rediscovered during an archaeological survey, leading to renewed interest, and some of these tunnels are now open to the public. Number 3. The Bourbon Tunnel. The Bourbon Tunnel in Naples, despite its name, has nothing to do with whiskey. Built between 1816 and 1861 under King Ferdinand II of Bourbon, it served as a military escape route. After the 1848 uprisings, Ferdinand feared for his safety and commissioned architect Enrico Alvino to design the tunnel, carved out of volcanic rock and connected to the 17th-century aqueducts. Though the king died before its completion, the tunnel remained abandoned when the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies merged into Italy. During World War II, it was reopened as a shelter for up to 10,000 people, leaving behind items like toys and gas masks. After the war, it was used for storage until the 1970s, when it was abandoned again. In the 2000s, the tunnel was restored, showcasing wartime relics and vintage cars. Today, visitors can take guided tours in English and Italian, or explore through adventurous cave and raft excursions.